Section. To learn more, visit guarddog.ai.
So this last year, we were able to expose guardDog to the CEDIA membership in a conference that was very successful for us. Richard and I were there on the floor. We did several presentations and ended up winning some awards at the event. So this is a part of that presentation. As I said earlier, I've been doing architectural lighting design for 35 years. We do nothing but custom homes around the United States, some overseas. Wrote the book on the subject. My book, The Art of Illumination, was in 25 colleges and universities, educating the architectural and interior design community that there is such thing as professional lighting designers and pulling together all this, not only the art of illumination, but the technology behind it. And one thing that I teach in this and in my adaptive practice is what I call the modern design team, and how critical this modern design team is. So everybody's agreed in the custom residential world that you have to have an architect and an interior designer, right? But technically, the architect and interior designer don't have any idea what the technical team does, how to apply lighting, how to apply LED and dimmable drivers and technology and lighting control. They may have a vision of what they would like the house to look like, but they're not technologists. So we need the technical team. And the technical team, I believe, consists of lighting designer, architectural lighting designer who is doing dimming controls and electrical engineering, which my firm Adaptive Design Group does. But we also need you, the integrator, doing the audio, video, home theater, wireless networks, the whole IoT program, automation, temperature control, energy management, solar and battery alarm systems, and now cybersecurity projects, these complex projects. And if you look at this modern design team, what we're providing together, our firm, Adaptive Design Group, and an integrator such as yourself, is so many more moving parts and pieces and coordination than even, I would say, more than what the architect and interior designer is doing. Because our job as the technical team is to educate the owners on what's available today with all this technology and all of the lighting and parts and pieces. We need to educate the owners. So that means we need to be part of this team early on. And that's kind of the beauty of architectural lighting design, because a lot of architects and interior designers realize they need an architectural lighting designer. And then we bring you right up, the integrator, to that team early on. A lot of times, Rick and Alexis, I bet that you get a phone call from your builders and say, hey, we have a 4-way inspection in 2 weeks, come in here and pre-wire the house. And you say, pre-wire to what? Well, just do what you've done on the other houses. Well, can we meet the owner? No, just get some wiring in there and we'll deal with that later. Well, that's not an appropriate way to approach, particularly a custom or luxury residence. We want to bring the team, this modern team, together early, do the education process to everybody. Everyone knows whose bucket's being filled by what, with scope of work, and then most importantly, educating the owner so we can move forward with full budgets, and then we're generating full set of drawings and documents that the general contractors and subcontractors can implement. And that's the key. We really don't want the subcontractors and general contractors designing And the only time they do design is if this team is not put together. So that's real important. So as a team, the CEDIA members and ourselves were doing full architectural lighting design, full dimming control, full electrical engineering, full home network, and cybersecurity, which is the main reason for our discussion today. Audio, video, shades, alarm, fire, access control, cameras, everything Rick and Alexis you do all day long. Heating, cooling, humidity control, a big deal. Water monitoring, not just water bugs at the appliances, the water appliances, but having a device on the incoming water. So if there is a leak, that water will automatically shut off through automation, right? Pool spa, irrigation control, and installation management. So what we do is we take, together with the integrator, all these disciplines, roll them into one team with that design team, and provide the drawings and documents that the contractors can install. Now, our firm is very sophisticated, where we do full architectural lighting design plans. So you'll see all the plans coordinated with the furniture, all the lighting coordinated with the furniture. We write all the architectural lighting specifications. Again, the architect is concerned about, and the owner is, do you want round trims or square trims? Obviously, it's going to be LED because everything is LED today, but all that coordination is critical. So we write all this coordination. The most beautiful part of us, our firm, is we don't supply product. We don't supply parts or pieces for Adaptive Design Group. We write all the specs, meeting the owner's needs, and then it goes out to bid. And Rick, if you're involved in, architectural lighting packages through buying groups or whatever, you have that ability to supply the architectural lighting along with the dimming controls. We show a lot of decorative lighting because some of the biggest mistakes made today in the built environment is an interior design firm supplying the decorative lighting package. And these decorative lighting packages show up even after occupancy sometimes because of the lead time delay. So all of a sudden, the electrical contractor's called in. We've got all the decorative fixtures. He's hanging the big entry chandelier, and he sees in the canopy of the fixture a purple gray wire. And he says, what do I do with this purple gray wire? All I have in the ceiling is a black and a white and a ground, right? And so nobody told the electrical contractor that is a 0 to 10 volt wire. That is the only way you can dim that product. And so now all of a sudden the electrician has to go to the owner and say, hey, I can turn this on and off through whatever the control system is, a toggle switch or integrated control, or but I can't dim it. Now you're going to tell an owner that just bought a $15,000 pendant fixture in the entry that you can only turn it on and off and you can't dim. Not cool. So that's the other reason, that modern design team needs to come together, and all of these fixtures need to be coordinated. All the keypad design, all the engraving of the lighting controls, we do all that because we're in charge of what happens when you hit those buttons in creating the scenes and the logic behind the design. So, and as a matter of fact, leading into this discussion with guardDog, people ask, well, why are you involved in guardDog for cybersecurity? Well, in the 38 years that I've been designing and engineering systems, the very first processor-based system that ever went into a house was dimming control. Integrated dimming control was the first processor that ever entered into the home. And this is many years ago, 25, 27 years ago, and it's kind of ironic. I told you I'm Park City, Utah. The very first integrated lighting control system came out of Utah, and that was a company called Light Touch. And then out of Light Touch spun Vantage Controls, which still exist today. And then a couple of years later, Lutron jumped into integrated controls. A couple of years later, Crestron jumped into integrated controls. And I've been there from the beginning of all these systems, and most of the engineers have been in my office showing me the latest, greatest keypad and product because of the amount of work we do around the country. So, and then we're into your stuff, the low voltage plan, showing all the keypads and security and motion detectors and smoke detectors and carbon monoxide and doorbell and everything else that goes in on top of that, integrated into this combined plan. Now, so we have all your technology coming in, and then we have all of the IoT devices that are coming into the house. And today there's up to 40, app-based IoT products that go into a large home today. And these IoT-based products are absolutely vulnerable to these outside individuals, these that are coming in trying to hack in and gain personal information. So we all have these products, and so some of them we're designing and engineering as the tech team into the projects, voice activated with Josh AI and thermostats and all of that, even doing gaming and home theater products that are IoT based. But then the owners are also going out to Best Buy and the big box stores, or seeing something online and grabbing a baby camera or something like that is also vulnerable. So all of a sudden this house is filled with all these potentially vulnerable products. So my opinion and my involvement with the guardDog is really because of this statement here opening, that it is our responsibility as the tech team, because we're doing the electronic system designs, and contractors, you all do contracting as well, the installation of your systems, but it's our responsibility to protect our clients from those potential breaches. And the last thing we want to see is a breach. We need to protect those environments. Rick, I saw on your website, very nice website, by the way, but I saw on your website that you're alarm.com dealer. Mm-hmm. And I have alarm.com here in my offices, but I also have guardDog deployed here in my offices as well. And the reason is yes, I have alarm.com that is protecting the contents of my space, my offices here, from a breach, from a burglar coming in at night and taking, anything that they can find in a hurry, laptops, flat screen TVs, some technology, things that they could hit and run. Well, right now that is only 50% of the protection that we need to apply to our clients' homes. So yes, I can lose a TV, or I can lose a laptop that somebody could run off with. But right now, the cyber hackers are wanting my identity, right? They're wanting our client's identity. They're wanting, one of the things I've learned in the last year and several months here with the advisory position with guardDog is that these hackers now, the home environment is the #1 environment for hackers. It's their market right now, and it is because of all this open architecture that's been created out there. So we're all these homes, and every single one of those IoT devices, right, has a processor. And those processors are computers, and those computers are hackable in that process. And the last thing we want is anybody having a ransomware attack. And we hear about this all the time. We read about it on the corporate level of big ransomware attacks. But now that that these outside influences are trying to get in and gain access to our homes and our personal identity, ransomware is happening within the homes. So if you think about the minimum ransomware attack right now is $2.4 million. So if I had a ransomware, my screen turned like this in my office or in my home, and I had 24 hours or 48 hours to come up with $2.4 million in Bitcoin, I'd be out of business, right? Most of us would be out of business. I can't gather that kind of money in my business. And so what do? I mean, they steal your server and all of your information and wait till you can come up with some money. I mean, I'm dead in the water. So we don't ever want to see this happen to any of our clients. And if you to step back, it's very interesting. In 2020, right, we all had to go home, and we were forced to go home due to the COVID. And so it's not only did we go home, our business owners, but our clients had to go home. So our client CEOs of major corporations, CTOs, CFOs, even the IT department heads went home. And so we were protected in the enterprise market with, think about our high net worth clientele who have their large organization that has a multi-million-dollar IT department that's watching over everything that's going on in their corporation, in their enterprise server, in that network. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's gone home. And I don't know if we're all going to ever go back, or they're ever going to go back to the big corporate environment in light of what's going on. And TJ's experiencing that right now with his COVID exposure. But with everybody working from home, guess what? We're outside of that enterprise secure environment. We're outside of that whole IT department that we had. I had the ability to ask my IT guy here in the office, hey, should I click on this upgrade? Is this legitimate? Should I click on that? Should I click on this email? Hey, it looks like somebody from corporate is asking me for my password and even my social security number. Should I pass that on? Now, all of a sudden, the majority of businesses are working from home. There's nobody to ask. There's nobody to turn to, unless you get them on the telephone and ask them and get them through the VPN and ask that question. So all of a sudden, we are really, really vulnerable. What guardDog Solutions has provided is a network overlay that is really quite amazing. Through Rick, you said you've been involved in CEDIA forever. I've taken a few key points from CEDIA publications and writing, starting with Jason Knott down at the bottom, that 40% of network installations in the home have open ports, vulnerable to hacks. 73% of integrators don't offer cybersecurity services. And why is that? And Richard and I polled out at CEDIA, what are you offering, the CEDIA people that we chatted with, what are you offering to your clients for cybersecurity? And they all said, we don't have anything. What do you have? So there's 20,000 cybersecurity products on the market today, and they're all revolve around the enterprise world. Nobody has anything for the residential world, for the home market. So very important. FBI, except guardDog. FBI issues warning on smart TV hacks, talking about, this coming into a big, big way. 75% of households may be at risk of voice assistant hacks. You've heard of this with Alexa and all these other products that are listening 24/7 to all of your conversations. So this is real and this is happening. So what Peter Bookman, the founder and creator of guardDog about 7 years ago, and he has been prolific in technology, cybersecurity for 25 years. 6 years ago, and I often ask him, Peter, how did you know 6 years ago in 2020, everybody be going home? How did you know to create a product to cover the home market? And he has some great answers to that. But what he's created with this guardDog is we have a FIDO device. And this FIDO device, I showed you, it's just in a small box like this. You can put 30 of these in your tech vans that are out running around and deploy them all over the place. Very small, very easy to deploy. The main product is the FIDO device here that you see. That device is very small. It plugs into the router, your router, it plugs into power, and then has a Wi-Fi antenna. And that Wi-Fi antenna is out sniffing 5,000 square feet of space. And this is why it's called guardDog. It is actually just like this image that I created here, shows that there's a shield over that 5,000 square foot property. Now, can you add multiple FIDO devices on a 20,000 square foot or a 100,000 square foot commercial facility? Absolutely. Everywhere you have a wireless access point, you can add another FIDO device to build that protection. So that's really important. But what's neat about this is once this FIDO device is deployed and registered to guardDog's AI, you are fully protected from outside influences, uninvited influences that are trying to penetrate the network through the IoT devices. So if you think about this protection, so we have a shield of protection over that 5,000 square feet. It's important to note that we're not inside the network. So we're not collecting data. We're not looking at or caring about what anybody is looking at or what's going on. We are hovering over the entire network, wired and wireless. Very important. So when a hacker tries to get in, what they're doing is they're pinging all these potential devices. They're pinging the network and trying to get through. So guardDog, this FIDO device is very sensitive and it feels these multiple packets coming in hitting. That's not how normally people go into a network, right? So it's pinging, trying to get into these devices. And the FIDO device is saying, hey, I don't like the way that feels. This is not right. Unlike alarm.com, we are absolutely protecting the house. I shouldn't use the alarm.com. We can edit that out, but we are monitoring 24/7 and protecting and registering that IP address that was trying to come in, registering it to the cloud, and we'll never allow that to come back. And what that does is once it hits our cloud through the FIDO, which is instantaneously, our cloud spits it out to all the other FIDO devices. So that IP address will not be allowed in because it was coming in an inappropriate way. So guardDog sees, the FIDO sees this and feels this on a 24/7 AI basis. It cannot be done, by humans as fast as this thing responds. So we're wanting to keep these hackers out And the problem is, if that hacker gets in through one device, could be a smart fridge, could be a baby monitor, could be the kids' gaming machines, it could be a neighbor bringing a device into the house with the kids for schoolwork or whatever. guardDog knows what's connected and what's in that 5,000 square foot facility, that home. It knows what's there. Even if somebody brings it in, it will register it on the dashboard. You'll see somebody bringing a device in and making sure that that device is protected and not vulnerable to hacks. The routers, I mean, how many of us in our own homes have updated our routers with the latest and greatest updates and ensuring that we don't have open ports? I mean, nobody's really dealing with that. So that's really interesting. So we presented all this at CEDIA this last year, and we won the Tech Starter Award, which was very exciting. There was multiple firms that were in this area for Tech Starter, and we had great judges. You probably recognize some of these if you've been involved in CEDIA. These are the judges here, were Tom Doherty from HTSA, David Weinstein from Lutron, two other individuals from CEDIA. This is Kelly Ryan, who's our director of marketing from guardDog. But we won hands down. It was unanimous. The judges were so impressed with this offering that we won the award this year. Now, not only did we win the award at CEDIA, but we also won the Homeland Security Award, which was a sweep. We won all 3 awards at Homeland Security. So this is a product, and Rick, you asked earlier, hey, how many dealers do you have? How many reps? We're just starting this process through CEDIA, but we're also being highly recognized in the world of government and big business, and hence the Homeland Security Award that Kelly was able to pick up 3 awards just a couple months ago in New York at a big event. So that was really quite exciting. So guardDog is an overlay network device. It deploys in less than 5 minutes, and you don't need to be a cybersecurity expert, because you can take that product out. Any of your techs can install it and register it to the cloud, and it will populate the dashboard and show you everything that's going on. So our thought in approaching CEDIA with this is the dealer base. We would like to have dealers all over the world, actually, because this is an international product. Anywhere you have a router and internet, this can be deployed. So our process is allowing setting up dealers such as yourself, Rick, and team, and letting you be the experts in cybersecurity for your client. So you'll have a dashboard, and I'll show you that momentarily. When you populate this for your client, there'll be a dashboard that shows all the wired and wireless products on that dashboard. This will show you the vulnerabilities. The reason that we have TJ here and Paul Holes is we don't, and Paul is an MSSP expert, and so is TJ, I'm assuming. We don't want, because you're going to see on the dashboard an open port on your router, you don't want your tech who installed that device to say, oh, I see that there's 4 open ports on the router, I should close those. We don't want your tech doing that. We want TJ to do that, or Paul Holes, or other MSSPs that are around the country to go in and make corrections that'll come up on that dashboard and solve those issues. because we would need an MSSP. But you, Rick, and team can bring in that MSSP as part of your service. So when you see that, and that's a billable opportunity for you, nothing to do with guardDog. This is your service pack, just like with alarm.com, subscription based. We are the same way, subscription based guardDog product is. So you'll not only have that opportunity to see what's on the network, but you're also going to see the products that, let's say you go back to your very first client, and that's what you can do with this. Go back to your very first client, guaranteed they don't have cyber protection, but you're going to find that a lot of those clients have really outdated electronics, from the router on into all the IoT and other wired devices, which also becomes another income stream for you, because you can say, listen, that router is outdated. We need to put in a newer router with better patches and things like that. You can charge the client for that. We see that these TVs are 10 years old. We can update that TV to a newer version, or any of the other devices. So this brings you into the home once more to all your past clients, and you can do upgrades all the way through. You also have the ability, through doing full reporting with the FIDO dashboard, the distributed dashboard, you'll be able to give your client a monthly or a quarterly report on what the findings are, what the potential issues are, and how you've solved those issues through your process. So that's our whole concept in bringing this to market. So you have that ability. You have great tech support with guardDog, with experts like Paul Holes and others on the tech side who can help answer all of your questions and to bring this out. But the reality of it is, this is a very easy deployment. It's a very easy sell to your clients, because they don't have anything right now. And they're gonna, I pay more, I think, for my 2 cars, for my monthly car wash that I can go in, than you would pay for this protection, which is, $1,200 to $1,400 a year to your client. And you get percentages off of that based upon volume, and plus all the residual income opportunities for what we talked about on the product upgrades inside. Comparison matrix, this is really important, because we have on here McAfee and Norton's. Everybody needs McAfee and Norton's. We really don't know what it's doing, but we're paying for it and we think it's important. That needs to be on the machines, absolutely. But these other products that are cybersecurity products that are out there, you've heard of them all: Cyber Reason, CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, Article Wolf. A lot of these have been in the news quite lately. But it's important to know that these other offerings are on the enterprise or the commercial world offerings, and they're endpoint solutions. And if you were to try to bring any of that into a house, very expensive to do. Where we're not an endpoint solution, guardDog is a network overlay solution, not an endpoint solution. So you buy the product, you deploy it, and you pay for it by the year, or you can pay for it by the month. We recommend you charge by the year to the client, and they're fully protected, and they have a full dashboard. And we're doing penetration tests. TJ, this is very important. If you were to try to bring in a CrowdStrike or an Arctic Wolf for these other products into a house, and then you wanted to do penetration tests on a quarterly basis, that could cost up to $250,000 to do that. And that's what happens in the corporate world with pen tests. a lot of pen tests are happening in the corporate world, particularly for companies who are holding clients' information, holding clients' dollars. Governments are now coming in, and regulation, states and local governments are now requiring cybersecurity and penetration tests, and that could cost an absolute fortune. We're doing that automatic, so there is no additional charge. We are doing that that survey that you'll see. So we check all the boxes, very easy to deploy. We're not collecting any data. We're not selling any data because we're not collecting any data like other companies are doing. And we put all this in the hands of the dealer. What I like to do is, that kind of concludes the presentation, the slide presentation. All right, so you're seeing that guardDog logo there. And so this is my office's dashboard. And this is what I see every day when I log in. And this is our standard dashboard. The distributed dashboard is a little more detailed than this. But you can see I've got one FIDO that's covering, I'm protecting up to 24 devices. It could be a lot more. I don't have that much more. I do have a pretty high threat score, and it's telling me what the issue is on this port. So we can really drill down and go through. Let me go to analytics and the network, and show you the devices that are being protected. Sorry, I'm gonna log in again. And you'll see here the devices that are on my back to networks, sorry. This is showing what's being protected. You see network, Netgear. I've got 4 open ports on that. That's 26 vulnerabilities. And if I click on that vulnerability, it'll show me I'm port 53, and then I can drill down and it'll give us the CV information on allows remote attackers to poison the DNS cache via answer queries, blah, blah, blah. And I can click on the CVE with my MSSP and drill down, and this will tell the MSSP how to fix where the patch is and how to fix this issue, to close that issue so I am not having that potential vulnerability any longer. So that's really cool. So, and it does this through all of my devices that are on the system, that are basically, guardDog is sniffing 24/7 of my entire network and showing the potential issues. So threat score is between 1 and 10. I'm at 9.3, and that's what we just saw. And it shows the port and the CVE connection. So this is where you want to grab your MSSP on an additional billable to the client and say, hey, let's clean this up. Let's take care of all these issues. And I've kind of kept these here to show the that I do have a threat score and I need to address this with an MSSP. And I don't have any attacks. And I did have 5 attacks in July 15th of last year that they showed up, and it was 5 attacks that showed the company that those attacks were coming from, and it was China. And as soon as it came in, you can see the guardDog protected symbol there is green. As soon as it came in, guardDog shut it down in a blink of an eye, and that's real. It shut it down. They tried again, shut it down, and blocked it, registered into the AI cloud, and we were protected, didn't have any breach. And again, the last thing we want to see is a breach. On the commercial side, with even an IT department that's running the whole enterprise network, Once they find a breach, it takes them 6 months to clear that breach. 6 months to clear it. And this is a full IT department, a bunch of humans trying to go in. Oh my goodness, what happened? Did they get into this piece of my network? Did they get in through this device? 6 months to clear, that's too long. Where we are clearing that breach at a blink of an eye, a potential breach, I should say. So that's our network or the FIDO dashboard that you'll see and all the reporting. The distributed dashboard, you'll be able to click on reporting and you'll be able to print those reports out for your clientele on a quarterly basis. We recommend you go out and deploy this. You can charge whatever you want. You're running the truck roll out there, you're sending one of your techs out, you can charge anywhere from $500 to $1,000 or whatever you want to do that truck roll. Again, that has nothing to do with the guardDog product. That's you and the client. You're deploying it, you're registering it, and now I'm going to be servicing that or your monitoring company, not only for alarm.com, but now cyber security with guardDog. I think you've probably been to our website, which is businessguarddog.ai, and that'll bring you to our live maps and things that you can see on the map being deployed.
Section. To learn more, visit guarddog.ai.